The thing that I love about Manchester the most is the rising and upcoming talent that we see each week, day in and day out, particularly from those that decide to pack up their bags and move to this amazing city, like Hannah Ellis Ryan. Now, Hannah, you're an actress and producer originally from Australia, and you're currently living in Manchester at the moment, and you've recently just finished working with the UK's top soap opera, Coronation Street. You know, you're literally doing all sorts, and it's absolutely fabulous. But first, let's talk about your move to the UK from down under. What was it that drew you to being so far away from home?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I was 5 and my parents signed me up for acting classes and I've always done it. And Australia just, it hasn't, I don't think it's too controversial to say that Australia's industry just hasn't really hit anything like what England and America has. And I didn't see myself on screen, basically. Like, I could watch things and I'd be like, I don't see myself in these people. And funnily enough, when I'd watch things like Coronation Street, for example, I'd be like, these are real people, and like I love that about England, and I always just felt like I had this like affinity with the UK. And so I trained in Australia, was there for 3 years obviously doing my acting degree. So after I graduated I did one really great job, but apart from that it was just desert, career desert, wasteland. And so yeah, I started saving up and saving my pennies, worked 3 jobs, and I was like, I'm just going to go try it in England. And obviously it's been absolutely amazing, and it's not always been easy, obviously, and I've, you know, it's not just been like overnight success, certainly not, but it was definitely the right decision, and my gut feeling was definitely on point.
So we all know that you're a theatre lover at heart, with your own theatre company, Play with Fire Productions, which is famous for producing things such as Orphans and Things We Want, which you actually performed in, and I had the opportunity of watching you at the Hope Mill Theatre as well. Your versatility as an artist is absolutely amazing. You should be really proud of yourself. But how was Play with Fire Productions established?
I got really in the thick of the theatre scene straight away. Like when I got here, I emailed everybody, Exchange, like everybody. And I started doing some work in this place called the 3 Minute Theatre. And my best friend Dan was living in Canada. But where he was making this real high quality work to no audience in Canada. And me here, I was making decent work and making stuff with the Fringe and trying to get together with mates and put plays on. But everything was packed out, and there's such a huge community here. So I guess the rest is history. The rest is we ended up being like the first sort of professional company to do a show here. And Orphans was a great debut for us because it meant that we opened Hope Mill basically. So it was a great joint thing for both of us.
So right now, we're currently sat in the Hope Mill Theatre, just in Ancoats, north of Manchester city centre, and it's tucked away in an industrial warehouse, and it's absolutely beautiful, obviously. And you're actually part of the management team here. How did you discover the Hope Mill Theatre?
I feel so lucky about my role here. So Dan and I obviously found Hope Mill randomly on Facebook, or Dan did, I should say, and we did our show here, and we started, you know, we just had obviously a great relationship with Joe and Will. Play with Fire had our own studio, and Joe and Will were desperate for some rehearsal space for one of their musicals. So we started birthing this idea of Hope Studios together, which is a rehearsal venue. So we have a shared rehearsal space in Manchester. And so we started kind of working together in that capacity a bit. We started managing a venue together, making moves towards this. And then around that same time, their theatre manager, Lucy, wanted to move on to other pastures. So Will said, I know you're crazy busy, but would you have any interest in taking up Lucy's job? And I was like, I am crazy busy, but I would love, love, love to be part of Hope Mill and what makes it so amazing. And it's just been incredible. So it's sort of Joe and Will, obviously, the owners, myself as the theatre manager, and Alice, the technical manager. And the 4 of us have just become this unit, really, and we do as much as we can, and we work our asses off, and so proud. Like Hope Mill just won UK's favourite theatre and best front of house team at the What's on Stage Awards, and that was amazing. So it's all worth it, and yeah, I feel very lucky to just be a small part of what makes it great.
Now, obviously, we have to talk about Corrie, the world's longest running soap opera. You had the amazing opportunity of playing the character Hannah Gilmore. So how was it? What was the experience like working for ITV, and why do you think they chose you to play this role, and what did you think about the role of Hannah Gilmore?
I actually have a good story about this, which is that I sort of heard a rumour on the grapevine about this part a while ago. This is how Manchester works. Everyone looks out for each other and everyone's very supportive, and I heard that they were writing this character that might not have to be English, and the way that TV works, which is so different to theatre, is that, you know, you can't really prep for these auditions because you don't get the sides, obviously they're all confidential. Most actors will know this experience of when you actually finally get something. So I was sitting there with the audition sides and I was like, like, I am right for this. She's got Jules' personality basically. Well, she projects a very sort of sweet persona, but she's got this horrific darkness about her. But I've always been told I've got very expressive eyes. Like, I know my eyes are very sort of alive. So, and I know obviously for TV, it's all about that. Because I produce and I do casting sometimes for my plays, I felt like I had a non-deluded idea that I was actually the right person for that. Because sometimes you're sitting in a casting room and you're like, I'd cast her. I wouldn't cast me, I'd cast her. That happens all the time. And for this one, I was looking around, I was like, I think I'd cast me. I think I'm the right person. So it was really good. And then obviously I got it, which was great. And that was my first ever TV job. But the outpouring of love, you know, and I think what I represented in that moment was everyone was like, it can happen, you know, you can. The filming part was amazing. The first call that my agent rang me about after I got the part was saying, Charlie Lawson wants your number. Do you mind if we give him your number so he can call you and chat? I was like, that's amazing. Yes, absolutely. So he called me like a couple of days before we started filming and we had a nice chat and got to know each other a bit over the phone. And I was like, that's great. That's really, really nice of him. So when I arrived, I didn't feel like a complete outsider. And then it was just a beautiful journey of getting over those nerves, feeling like I belonged there, like I deserved to be there, and just, yeah, trying to do the best job I possibly could, really.
All right, so following all this, you've recently been up to the northeast of England. You were playing a role in the play River, which was presented by the Elysium Theatre Company. The reviews are absolutely amazing. It's supposed to be a love story and a ghost story, but again, going back to your versatility, do you prefer screen performance or stage performance?
The big Q. I have basically always done theatre. You know, theatre's my life. So I feel like I now have that confidence with theatre. Like, I can go to a theatre audition, I can be like, hello, my name is Hannah, here I am. I didn't always feel that way. Oh my God, I've got many horror stories of horrific theatre auditions where I just had no idea what I was doing. The Corrie casting, you know, I was crapping my pants, you know, because I'm not comfortable in that situation. I've not done lots of films. So I think at the moment, the preparation and the rehearsals and the collaboration that goes into theatre, I just love so much, just where my heart lies. But I would love, any producers watching, no, obviously do as much, you know, do more film and TV and do as much as possible, because that's the only way that I'll get better at it, obviously, and get to hone those skills, get to do it.
And now, what is next in line for Hannah Ellis Ryan?
No. Well, 2019's pretty booked up, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously I've got my job here, which I love, and I've got, fun acting jobs coming up that I don't know if I could probably talk about yet, but yeah, I've got some acting stuff coming up, and that is a great feeling to, even if I just rewound 12 months ago, I was just gagging to do a play, and now I fast forward 12 months and I'm like, wow, my year is looking like it might be full of acting projects, and that is amazing. So thank you, Coronation Street, and you know, thank you, plugging it.
And finally, what advice would you give to aspiring theatre lovers, actresses, producers? What advice would you give to people watching?
Don't wait for life. So my advice would just be, find ways to expand what you love as much as possible, make it as dynamic as possible, and just make yourself busy with what you love, because then you'll just get better and better and better at it. And then you'll get to the point where you go, oh wow, now I'm making decisions about what I do, rather than waiting. I mean, I personally couldn't wait. If people out there are happy to, then awesome, great for you. But people who would just want to get their teeth into it, I would say, make it happen for yourself. That's what I'd say.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. It's been great.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.